Happy Wednesday, everyone. This is Frank Ticas dropping knowledge. Coming at you once again. A little bit of a message, a little bit of knowledge. First and foremost, thanking everyone that's been on this journey with me on my channel. It's a beautiful day. So I'm taking you on a journey with me. Having a little walk through my neighborhood. As you can see, I'm walking my dog. Her name is Eboshi. Whatever, tan linda que sos. Yeah, we kind of have to maneuver through traffic here. I use the sidewalks, but when I'm walking my dog, I tend to walk on the side of the street because even though there's traffic, people usually respect. And I think respect goes a long way. Respect goes a long way. Like, you don't have to agree with people. But if you can have respectful conversations with people, it goes a long way, right? We don't have to see things eye to eye. But you know what? I respect the fact that you brought it up to my attention. We talked it out. We may not agree, but at least we have an understanding. So I think it's important to deal with respect, to walk with respect, until that respect is broken. Right? So, earlier today I had to come and this is the second time I come out and walk. The first time I came out to walk, I went to see the guy that fixes the washing machines, that does the maintenance and stuff, because he lives pretty close. We're about to pass by where he's at. Buenos dias. Yeah, you see behind me, guy pushing a cart. Already selling. Got street vendors, got dogs barking at my dog. But it's a beautiful day. I couldn't stay inside. My job requires for me to be sitting down all day. Well, not all day, just the time that I'm in front of the computer doing what I do. I only work 4 hours a day. Like my literal job, I only work 4 hours. I give 2 English classes. They're an hour long. So all in all, I work 6 hours a day. I work from home, and I have time to do this, right? And especially because I do sit down, especially when I'm editing videos. I have to be sitting down. I have to be working in front of the computer. Yeah, chorizo. Right, I have to do a lot of stuff in front of my computer, so I'm constantly sitting down. Whatever chance I get to walk, I do so. As a matter of fact, the supermarket is maybe like 5 minutes away. Like, if we might go by there. I'm thinking about where I'm going to go right now. But yeah, the supermarket's like 5 minutes away. A lot of stuff is real close. If I need to get something, I order it. But I tend to walk as much as I can. I don't like to be sedative and stationary, stagnant, right? I like to move around, and it gets the creative juices flowing, right? It helps me determine, and get ideas of the content of the content I want to put out there. But yeah, see, there's the guy right here. He fixes refrigerators and washing machines. I'm probably going to put a cut of like the mill. There's a mill just right here. We just passed by. It's up the street. ¿Cómo estamos? Siempre, ¿va? Macizo. Ahí está, ahí va. Nos vemos. Yeah, people know me around here. I've lived here long enough. I do business with a lot of these people. I tend to use the people in the area instead of calling like a company, because, well, first, it's cheaper, obviously, but secondly, that's what they thrive on. These, individual people, freelancers. Some of them aren't professionals, but they know what they do, right? They're very good at what they do, so I use them. Like, who we just spoke to, He sells bread. He sells, if I need bread for a particular occasion, for like a party, whatever, we'll ask him to make it. And there's a tight community we got going on over here. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. See, people still say buenos dias, buenas tardes over here. Yeah, it's a different life, right? It's a different life. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. About messaging, about information, and how all that like ties in to a lot of the decisions I make with my channel, with the content that I put out, the messages I want to get out there, and even like how I do it, right? So first and foremost, I just want to thank everyone that's been rocking with the channel, watching my videos, hitting the like button, leaving comments, to Expose Tube and the whole family over there. Hey, what we got going on is something different, and it's real. And people ridicule it, and I understand it because I don't know a lot of these people, never met them before in my life, but we've gotten to know each other little by little just through mere association and having side conversations, sharing music, and a lot of us have a lot of the same tastes, a lot of the same backgrounds, a lot of the same struggles, a lot of the same worries. And I think that everyone around the world can share with a lot of the same type of things. I think the problem sometimes is that depending on who we're getting the message from, depending on what our biases are, what our fears are, what our preconceived notions are, racism is a prejudice, right? But I think it's a stronger, more focused one. Depending on all of that is how we deal with people, is how we form our beliefs, and it is how we decide and we choose who we rock with and who we don't, who we allow into our circle, who we don't. All of these things that make us up as human beings, they do have an effect. Whether it's an effect on your direct family, whether it's an effect on your coworkers, on the people around you. And if you're a content creator, obviously you're affecting a lot of other people that you don't even know, right? I know a lot of you guys that are my subscribers are getting to know me. I'm not getting to know you unless you start commenting and engaging, and that helps, right? It helps. Some people have started to follow me on my personal social media pages like Facebook and Instagram because I allow it, right? I'm no better than anyone else. I'm a human being, that loves human connections, loves bouncing ideas off of people. And that's what got me into this channel, right? That's what got me interested in doing this, because I figured I have enough lived experiences to where maybe I can give you something that you might, connect to, that might show you, teach you something new. A lot of us are at different stages in our paths in life. There are people that are much more advanced than me, that have learned so much more, maybe even deeper, right? More profoundly than what I could assume, what I could even imagine. But then there are, I as well have probably seen things that maybe you have seen, but maybe from a different angle, maybe from a different lived experience that will give you another perception, will give you something else to work with so that you can formulate more intelligent decisions. Because at the end of the day, our daily life, every single day, is made up of decisions. We decide what time we're going to get up, what time we're going to jump in the shower. We decide whether we're going to leave 5 minutes earlier, 5 minutes later. We decide these things, right? We decide what we're going to have for lunch, what we're going to have for dinner. We're about to get into a real main street. We're about to pass by the supermarket, so the noise is going to go up considerably. I hope I can still get my message across. But yeah, everything we do is a decision. Everything is based on time, obviously. Time puts a constraint on all the things that we would love to do and that we're capable of doing. See, this is like the main street. Let me see. Here's the market. You know, time puts a constraint on our wishes, on our desires, on the things we want to do. I look back at the time that I was locked up, and it's all wasted time for me. Yes, I learned, right? I learned a lot of things that I don't want to do. I learned a lot of things that I didn't want to go through again. Buenos dias. My time locked up just showed me that, you know, I'm too, how can I say this? Like, I think we're all valuable. You know, every single human being is a valuable individual. I believe that we were all made with a purpose. And, you know, and going back to the messaging and the things that we allow into our lives, some of that messaging, some of the ideas, some of the beliefs that we adopt can stunt us, or they can make us flourish, right? It's give or take, and that's what makes us all different. Buenos dias, con permiso. That's what makes us all different, right? That's what makes us all unique. And we can all be from the same family. I mean, I've got 3 older sisters, and we're alike in many aspects, but we all have different ideas, right? Different ways of going about doing things. But I think that what we've been able to do is not let our ego get in the way of making the best decision. And when you form a community like that, and that's what we have going on and exposed to, right? Is that we share ideas, we share our thoughts, and as long as you're doing it respectfully, as long as you're not being a troll, you're going to get honest responses, right? Especially from like me. I'm never going to lie to you. You know, if you troll me, I'm going to troll you because, I mean, obviously my channel trolls, right? My channel trolls, but, you know, I also try to stick some information in there, like even with this video, to make you think, you know, give you a different perspective. So information is valuable. Like what we learn from others through creating communities, it's important, it's powerful. Information can change the way we live. It can change the way we see things, right? For many years, people thought smoking was healthy. But the more information that was produced, so, you know, a long time, as time went by, demonstrated that it wasn't, right? It's not a healthy habit. Well, yes. It's not a healthy habit. You know, and so, just like Johnson's baby powder, right? Johnson's baby powder is not safe. It's not safe for babies. Has been found to be a leading source of cancer. I mean, how many millions of mothers, how many millions of families have used Johnson & Johnson's baby powder for decades, not knowing of its side effects? So information is very important, and you can see that by the way that all these international companies, this multi-billion-dollar companies, are buying up information. Like, that is a hot commodity in these times. No, that and water, but we'll get to that. So information is gold. Buenos dias, con permiso. Information is gold. Information is what makes the world go round. Information is used for businesses, you know, demographics. We use information, demographic information, when we make our videos on YouTube, right? We use a lot of that information. Otra vez, después sí con la chuchita. Right? See, I had already walked by it earlier. But yeah. So information is valuable. People are paying millions of dollars, billions upon billions of dollars for information. And AI was created as a net. Like, if you think about like deep sea fishing, like when they use like those big nets. Like think about Nemo. Like if you've ever seen the movie Search for Nemo or whatever it's called, Finding Nemo, or yeah, you know which movie I'm talking about, that Disney movie. You know, there you see how the fish are caught in these big ass nets, right? Now in the real world, those big ass nets that are meant for tuna, that are meant for particular types of fish, may sometimes catch a shark, may sometimes catch a dolphin, may sometimes catch seals, unintended victims, you know, that are ultimately sacrificed and thrown in the ocean as scrap. Well, yes. And that's how AI is, right? AI is a big intrusive net that drags the bottom of the information floor all the way to the top and just gets whatever it can to produce whatever it is that you are asking for it to make. That's why I personally won't use AI in my videos. Now, I have no control over maybe some features being powered by AI. Like even those I try to avoid. Like the software that I use does have some AI animated stuff that I don't use. Okay, I try to avoid it. Because even though I use obviously a lot of content that was pre-made by other creators, by studios, and you know, old commercials, I think AI is worse. You know, it's also ruining the planet. You know, talk about water being a commodity. How much water isn't being boiled up by the second to create a meme? So, as a personal choice, as a matter of principle, I choose not to use AI. So you might get videos like the one I put out. Now, I don't think you'll get too many videos like the one I put out yesterday, which looked like, you know, it was a lot of copy pasting. Like if I would have wanted to make that video the way I wanted it to make it, I would have had to invest a good 40 hours of watching, you know, different videos, trying to get the right facial expressions cut, pasted at the right frame by frame. Yeah, I'm not gonna do all that. But you know, part of AI, and when we're talking about information, right, tying it into real life, a lot of that information is wrong. Like there have been people that have committed suicide because they use AI as their therapy. You know, and AI it learns how you speak, it learns what you're looking into, what you're searching. You know, and if people are in a depressive state and they've been doing searches that are, you know, towards that depressive state, maybe looking for things about suicide and things like that, eventually AI starts turning their help into how to commit suicide the best way, right? AI doesn't have a soul. AI doesn't have a conscience. It just puts information out there that people want to hear. Like it tries to give you what you think that you want, right? And it doesn't matter where it pulls the information from. It doesn't matter if it's using half-truths or full-blown lies. All AI is trying to do is create whatever it is you command it to do, right? And that's pretty scary. I mean, if you think about it, it's a scary proposition to use tools that you don't know where they're getting their information from, and at this point has been proven to give false information or faulty information, right? So it's because of that I prefer not to use it. Now, that's a big ass truck, right? But that's my prerogative. You know, if people decide they want to use it, that's fine. I know I've enjoyed memes crafted on AI, you know. Shout out to all the people putting out content. Right, keep doing it. That's a river. We're circling back. Yeah, so I mean, I enjoy some AI content, but me personally, I avoid using it. Like I've said before, I'm very given to the arts. I enjoy drawing, writing poetry, things like that. So as much as I can, I try to create. And if I borrow content, I do it directly. You guys know the source. You guys know where it's coming from. You know, especially when I use commercials, like old commercials. Yeah, I don't even really mess with those unless I add something, wording to it. But yeah, I try not to mess with AI at all. If I can avoid it, I'm pretty sure that times are coming where you won't be able to avoid AI at all, right? Because of the information, and like I said, my reasons why. I think it's affecting the environment, and I also find a lot of its information suspect, right? Which leads me to real life. A lot of the content creators out there act just like AI. You know, they get, all the way to the very bottom, they're bottom feeders, and they'll run with any cheeseman, any jacket being thrown. Now, it's different when you're trolling people, because like I said, I troll too. And you can insult people, right? You can even call someone effeminate. Now, there are other words for effeminate that I would rather not use. You can call people that. You can call people out of their name. But when you accuse people of things, you have to be very careful, especially when they're serious crimes, right? I've been noticing a lot lately, going back to the video I put out yesterday. I didn't use AI. I copy pasted. It only took me around probably like 45 minutes to put it together. It's a short video. I wasn't going to spend too much time invested in the people in it or who I address or in the subject matter. It's more of a inside joke, more of a personal jab. But, these people have been, especially you, Bam Bam, I've been talking and making serious allegations, which I think you know better. Like you jump in front of the camera talking about, oh, you're in good standing. Dude, I know that it's an act. That's why I don't even, I don't care. And if you guys notice, I don't really talk about too many content creators, just Dubs and Gunner, because of my personal gripe with them. I don't care what goes on in YouTube unless I see it as these, like these guys that are encroaching in spaces with kids and being bad examples. That's the reason why I started going at them. Like, I was not going at Dubs and Gunner. I would comment in their comment section, right? I would do that. But as far as like hitting or attacking them directly, I never did it till now. And it's only because I saw that they were on TikTok. That's what set it off. Like, I've been very clear about that. That's what set it off. But I've never tried to claim they're anything but what we already know they are. No further allegations. I don't believe in accusing people without any proof. If you saw my video before, like I have a video where I talk about, my time in the county where I knew someone was ratting, but I had no proof. So I just decided to get down with the guy one-on-one because I didn't like it. I didn't respect it, right? Now, all this accusing people of Megan's Law and thinking it's a joke and thinking it's funny, like, it's not. It's not funny. And all I say this is produce the paperwork, man. Don't be talking about it. Don't be using that as a troll. You can troll about anything. But the minute you disrespect women and children, Megan's Law is a big disrespect towards actual victims of abuse. When you mention it and when you accuse people of that, you're just demonstrating the type of weirdos that you are. You know, to go so low as to use such a crime to troll and to hate, it tells me like just how far you will go in real life to get your way. And it's people like you that I would avoid. It's people like you that if push came to shove, I would have a problem with. Right? So while you continue your shenanigans, I don't particularly care. You know, I know that you have your followers, and you know, keep doing what you're doing. If you follow these guys, hey, keep following them. I'm not telling you not to follow them. But what I am saying is that even if you're trolling, be honest about it. You know, and make sure that what you're accusing people of is true. And if you have the paperwork, drop it. If you don't have the paperwork, shut the fuck up. Right? Because eventually, if it does damage, you know, and if people do make it to where they try to spread a rumor as a fact, you know, that comes with consequences. So I'm still being a nice guy. I'm still trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And having said that, until next time, peace.